Yeah, so I mean, it's been rough, right? I mean, ever since
Yeah.
FTX has collapsed, people have been, screaming about the losses that they've taken. It's been horrendous. But I do think, like, at least today, or at least last night when he was arrested, it was kind of a move in the right direction, right? If you think about it, how many people got hurt, and then someone has to be held accountable.
Yeah.
And his arrest is that starting process. And I think for a lot of people, they may not get all their money back, but at least maybe it's the beginning of healing. And for the crypto industry, I think it could be the beginning of a little healing as well. Let's just hope that no one else, no big players in crypto are making other bad decisions like he was.
If Bitcoin was a boxer, it would be a scrappy brawler that refuses to give up. But the last few weeks, it has taken a pummeling with the collapse of industry giant FTX and the arrest of its founder Sam Bankman-Fried in the Caribbean. Bitcoin is used to taking knocks, but this anti-establishment fighter was already on the ropes after its most bruising year yet. It is down, but is it out? Hello and welcome to Money Talks. In today's video, Gareth Soloway updates about the most recent movements on the Bitcoin charts, possibility of a bull run, the FTX scandal, and the upcoming highs and lows for Bitcoin.
I mean, it sounds like SBF they were using some of the customer money to buy, properties
Properties.
and properties, and then they were
Yep.
making contributions to politicians. And interestingly enough, from what I was hearing, is they were doing it in his name, but then they actually like did it in other people's names that didn't exist. And so it looked like he had this big network of donators to these campaigns
So
that he could
dirty.
have more influence. Like, I mean, it's just like right there, it shows like a process of thinking things through, which makes me think he's guilty, right? Because if he's smart enough to do these type of things, then he's certainly smart enough to realize you shouldn't commingle funds and you shouldn't use custom. I mean, there's no doubt about it that the law is going to come down on him, and it'll be interesting to see as all the facts come out. And then I'm curious, like, what kind of jail time? Is it like 30 years? Is it like 10 years? It shouldn't be less than 10. But again, I don't know what the statutes say in these situations.
Bitcoin has a cracking underdog story that befits a Rocky-style boxing tale. Starting on the mean, lawless streets of internet forums in 2009, it was just a featherweight prospect worth only a few pennies. Over the years, its band of promoters swelled though, helping develop Bitcoin and fight against the establishment.
This is what I love about charts, is that charts basically give you an insight into what's going to happen. It doesn't guarantee it, but it gives you insight. And what you can see here is we had this little move up right here.
Yeah.
And this is the daily chart. So every candle here is one day. And basically from that point on, we went sideways. And this is known in the technical trading sphere as a bull flag. So bull flag meaning bullish, and price should pop. And that's exactly what it's doing here. Now, it's not a big pop, but again, we're in the middle of a bear market with FTX. So what do we expect? But again, it did tell us that you should have some sort of move up, and we did get that move up. For me, this is your next big area of resistance, right around 18,500. All these kind of lows right in here, that's going to be the next level that price has to try to get through to make a move up. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
Ooh.
The Fed tomorrow, I would basically say I expect crypto quiet until then, and then you'll see some big reaction up or down on the Fed.
But then, in November that year, Bitcoin started taking losses, and it has kept on getting worse, with continuing knocks and scandals leaving it at its lowest point for years in value, trust, and excitement.
No,
I think it always
I
does.
think the market already expects 50 and it's already priced in. The market
Really?
tends to price these things in. It's all about, like, they're going to guide us for the future after that, right? So they're going to say, okay, guys, we're going to raise another 50 in January, and then that would be a reaction because we don't expect that. Or they're going to say, oh, we're not going to raise it all in January, and the market would get really happy. So it's more what they guide versus what actually occurs tomorrow. Since the markets always are really good at pricing things in ahead of time. It's whatever his comments are that we don't know yet, and that's what markets will react to.
FTX's collapse last month has been the biggest shock to crypto in years. It was the world's second largest exchange, the entry point for millions of people to get into crypto.
It's true. No, you're 100% right. This really isn't crypto itself. Like, it's not a Bitcoin issue. I mean, he could have been in any business, right? I mean, he could have been
Exactly.
in in marijuana sales or whatever, something that's somewhat not regulated, and he could have done the same thing. So I agree 100%. It's ridiculous. And the good thing about it is I saw a couple interviews with some senators or congressmen afterwards, and they were like, listen, those guys there's a handful of the banners that ban crypto, but he said most everyone else were like crypto curious. Like, we don't know a lot. We want to learn more. We want to regulate it. We don't want to ban it. And I'm like, okay. So basically what that's telling me is that a majority, which is what you want, are like, okay, let's do the right thing here and let's kind of put the regulation on for transparency. So that's good. That's a positive. And I think, again, if we ever want crypto to really become epic and Bitcoin to go to 500,000, you need that. You need transparency in the industry now.
It was seen as one of the most trusted platforms, but collapsed into bankruptcy in days after its finances were revealed to be unstable. FTX's founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, is now in custody, accused by the U.S. of building, quote, a house of cards on a foundation of deception while telling investors that it was one of the safest buildings in crypto. Sam Bankman-Fried told the BBC he hoped he had not killed crypto.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at almost any time frame, right? So we could go to the hourly chart here, and if we look at the hourly chart, you have the same general thing, right? So you can see it's a little sloppier on this time frame, but you have this move up here. So you have this move, and then basically you went sideways here and then sideways right down here, and that's your bullish pattern that leads to that move up, right? So again, you can definitely see it on different time frames. So there's your up move, and then there's your sideways choppy consolidation. Basically, when something consolidates, so this is what people have to understand, is that after a big move up, there's a propensity for people to sell into it. So if you had a lot of sellers, if you had a ton of sellers more than buyers, price would come right back down. But the reason why it's bullish when it goes sideways is that it ultimately means that investors, bulls and bears, are equaling each other, right? So even after this run, there were still a decent amount of buyers that were offsetting the amount of sellers, and that's why price goes sideways, because there's an equal amount. And that's showing you that even after the up move, there's still buying interest, and it's usually a very bullish sign for the next move up.
FTX has undoubtedly dealt a knockdown blow, but 2022 has repeatedly pummeled crypto. The first major blow came in May with the sudden collapse of two popular digital coins that caused $400 billion to be wiped from the value of Bitcoin and the crypto ecosystem.
There's always a possibility. I doubt by itself the Fed would cause a big sell-off. I think that in general, you have to look at it like, okay, so the Fed could maybe push prices back down a little bit, but it's probably another shoe to drop if we're going to get that big drop. But this is the kicker, right, is that I do think that there will be something that happens like that. So what we know is, they say things happen in threes.
Yeah.
So you had Terra Luna, you had FTX. So which is the third one? And, it's like, when I hear about like two people that died, I'm like, who's there's always like a third one. I know that's kind of morbid, but
yeah.
But it's like, so you do think that there's something else. And I think also the biggest threat to crypto outside of kind of these FTX scenarios is what happens when the stock market takes another big drop. And right now we've been in this, basically at the S&P's been sideways to up now for, basically since October. And so we've had now almost 3 months of sideways to up action. At some point, the stock market's going to really drop another, I think, 20-25%. And can Bitcoin withstand that, or does it drive it down?
So, do you think Bitcoin will see a sell-off once again, or will the price pump? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.